Do you find it hard to forgive people who have wronged you in the past?
You know, a lot of people do, and that's what we'll be talking about today here on My Sober Truth. Hey, it's May 16th, and it's time for a double shot of My Sober Truth. You know, Shawn, this whole idea of forgiveness is so messed up in the world. I mean, we were kids. Remember when we were kids?
Yeah.
And we had to forgive. I mean, our idea of forgiveness is, I'm sorry. And we kind of walked off in that situation. But as we've grown, we start learning that forgiveness is multifaceted. We start learning that forgiveness has a lot of layers in it, in a situation. And that forgiveness is rarely about the other person.
Right.
In that situation. So it's very important when we're talking about forgiveness, and especially when we're forgiving somebody for how they've wronged us, and that can be something that they did to us or didn't do for us, like in the case of neglect, that we can get to the point that we can forgive them. Now, specifically talking in context of step 5 of 12 steps, and making that inventory and unburdening, why do you think it's important to start considering and thinking about forgiveness of others in this step?
Well, what I kind of go back to is you were talking about how multifaceted forgiveness is. And when I got here, I thought of forgiveness the same way we were just talking about. I'm sorry. Well, first of all, as most of us have heard all our life, or a lot of people have told us, you know, as you get older, I'm sorry doesn't really hold any weight without some change in actions around it. You know, you can't pop somebody upside the head every day and say I'm sorry and then do it again tomorrow, and then say I'm sorry and then do it again tomorrow and say I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry doesn't mean anything. You and I were talking the other day about, maybe it wasn't you, but I was talking with someone the other day about yelling at your kids. And it's the same principle. If you yell at your kids all day, every day, yelling doesn't mean anything. That's just the way that you communicate. If you never yell at your kids, and then the one time you raise your voice, they know, boy, something's going on here. I better pay attention, you know? And it's that same type thing. You can't keep saying, I'm sorry. And then you have to learn that there are actions that have to go with that.
Right. But turning this on to forgiving others.
Right.
Because we all talk about, you know, we can clean our side of the street.
Right.
But part of this process, as we're going through our past, as we're going through the things that we did, we realize, oh, wait a minute, I did this because this was done to me.
Right.
So, and some of the things can be unforgivable.
Right.
In a sense.
Absolutely.
And so how do you process this concept of forgiveness? Maybe the person's not even in the room with you.
Right.
Maybe they're dead.
Right.
What's the benefit of going through this process of forgiving somebody else?
Well, there's a book called Drop the Rock. Multiple people have talked about this, and it's about getting this poison that's inside of you out of you. And let's say, for instance, I have a wrong that I've done to someone 10 years ago. Right. Haven't seen this person in 10 years. And so I have a talk with my sponsor about what's the best way to go about trying to get some forgiveness. I am usually, or I was in the beginning, very worried about whether or not that person was going to forgive me. Mm-hmm. And just follow me here, because this is going to go back to when I need some forgiveness from someone. Mm-hmm. So at some point, I have to figure out, once again, willingness, what I'm willing to do to get forgiven, what I need to do to drop this rock, to set it down, what I need to do to get myself right. It's not as much about trying to get this other person to accept my apology. It's great when they do, and it's amazing, and it's awesome, and I've rekindled relationships with people from the past. Cool. It's amazing. But it's about getting right with myself. So the same is in effect for when someone has wronged me. It's the same thing. I might need or want an apology out of them. I might need some action. You know, they borrowed money from me and never paid it back. I might want them. None of that matters.
Right.
What matters is getting right with myself.
Right.
What matters is I don't want to hold on to that resentment. And dropping the resentment, letting the resentment go, has nothing to do with me forgetting everything.
Right.
I still know that I'm probably not going to loan that person money anymore. So I don't have to forget it. But what I do have to do is not let it bother me and mess with my life in the future. I need to be able to forgive them for me, not for them.
You know, one of the funny things about forgiveness, unforgiveness, and so somebody's wronged you, and there's times that, I mean, I've done this, I'm sure you've done this, that I've done something wrong, I've offended somebody, I've screwed up, and I didn't even realize it.
Right.
So this has happened to me. Someone's wronged me. They didn't realize it. And I'm going around stewing. I'm finding my hands gripping the steering wheel tighter when I'm driving past their house or driving past that business. My breathing gets heavier. My blood pressure goes up. But you know what happens from the other guy when that happens? Nothing. Forgiveness set me free.
Absolutely.
In that situation. Forgiveness released peace into my life.
Right.
Because, like you said, I wasn't holding onto that rock. I wasn't holding that poison.
Right.
You know, does it make it right, what they did? No. Does it mean that it wasn't wrong? No. It means that you're getting right with yourself. You're getting right with your higher power, and it just releases that level of peace in your life.
Well, we talk about it a lot in the program, acceptance.
Absolutely.
I don't have to accept that what this person did to me is right. What I do have to accept is that it was done to me. And what I also need to accept is that I don't want this to ruin the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
So I got to set it down.
Absolutely.
You know, I've heard the question before. So we talk a lot about what's your part in a situation.
Right.
You know, if someone wronged you, what was your part in that situation? A lot of time that's a huge key to finding a way to accept it and move on with it, is finding out your part in it. Well, I heard someone get asked, well, how is being raped as a child my fault? What is my part in that?
Right.
And the answer is, and I thought it was going to be some huge, complicated answer, or maybe no answer. How do you answer that question? That's a horrible, horrible thing. The answer to that question is, your part is to not let it ruin the rest of your life. Your part is to set it down someday.
Right.
Let it go. Doesn't mean you forget it. Doesn't mean any of that other stuff. It doesn't mean you're accepting the behavior. It means you accept that this happened, and now I'm ready to move on.
Right.
And that's really what it all boils down to. When you get ready to move on, let's move on.
Right.
Let's go. Let's make a better life for ourselves.
And in that case, it's forgiving the unforgivable that opens the door for that person moving on.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up, I want to turn back to the audience. I want to ask them this same question I was going to ask you, but you kind of already hit it. So answer me this. How has forgiving the unforgivable changed your life? Take a few minutes. Write your answers in the comment section below. We can't wait to read it, and I can't wait for your answer to encourage someone else today. So,
yes.
Absolutely. On that note, I'm Mark.
And I'm Shawn, and here's hoping that today you stay drunk with success. Love y'all.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you're thirsty for another round, then belly on up to mysobertruth.com and click on the double shot button today. There you'll find the encouragement, inspiration, and support that'll help you stay clean, on track, and prospering in every area of your life. Take a moment to subscribe to this channel, and if you got a minute, stick around. Let's watch another video together.